Alright everyone, today we're going to be painting the Eavy Metal style of bases in grey. You want to start with a couple of coats of PVA mixed with water on some fine grained sand until you can pull your finger across it and nothing comes off. It's nice and stuck down on there. We'll be following that up with a couple of thin coats of Skaven Blight Dinge. After a few coats, we've got a nice opacity, just enough to then apply a shade on and the Skaven Blight Dinge not to become too desaturated and too dark. So I'm mixing up my Nuln oil with a little bit of matte varnish. I do find the Citadel shades are quite glossy, really shiny. You don't have to do this, but there's a little trick there for you if you also don't like the shininess of them. And after that shade has dried, your base should be looking something like this. And we're going to go on to some dry brushing. So we're going to take our Skaven Blight Dinge first of all and dry brush the top of the base just to bring back that base color a little bit through the shade we've just applied. So if you haven't dry brushed or haven't done it too successfully before, just make sure you don't have a damp brush. Very dry. You can have the slightest bit of moisture in there. You want to get most of it off though. Put your paint on, get 95% of that off on some card or a dry surface, paper towel, something, and drag your brush across the surface in differing directions. After we've done our Skaven Blight Dinge, we're going to crack open the Rakarth Flesh and just do the same there. And if you're wondering where I got this recipe, I got it from the Eavy Archive website. Link in the description. You can see I'm hitting the base from differing angles so we don't get any really obvious lines or drag marks from the paint across the base, so it all looks pretty random. Next we're going to be popping open the Deepkin Flesh and just doing the exact same process over that base once again, taking off most of the paint onto some card. And then lightly dragging it across the base in a very random way. And you don't need to apply much pressure at all here. It's really just about letting the brush hit the tops of those stones and the texture that exists on the base. And you can see now with this layer, it's really starting to pop and look amazing. Next up, we're going to be tackling the rim of the base using multiple thin coats, watered down Skaven Blight Dinge. I probably did 4 to 5 really thin coats here just to get a really nice consistency, no texture build up or anything along that rim. And then finally, I like to mix up a little bit of matte varnish with some satin and spray that across my base, not only for protection, but just to tie the different glossiness or matteness of the paints together. And for a final touch, we're popping on some Game of Grass 2mm Tiny Tufts, the dark moss color. So these bases look really similar to the bases you see on the miniatures from the Indomitus box, the box art on many Necron models. So I hope it helped you achieve that look if that's what you were going for. I've also got a tutorial up on how to achieve the more commonly seen brown bases. So definitely go and check that out if you want to know how to get that finish too. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters.